We are not rare. But before you leave, you will perceive the lore will be unlocked. You might be stalked by a Sasquatch or a ghost witch, possibly even a ghost that will boast about knowing the Ohio Grassman or even the Michigan Dogman. Werewolves hunt, poltergeists are up front, but in these backwoods folklore is unlocked.
Welcome back to Folklore Unlocked. I'm Austin, and like always, I'm joined by Ethan.
Yep, hello again, everyone.
And this week we are taking a look at a for sure lost item in the Ark of the Covenant. And some background about the Ark of the Covenant, if you're not familiar with it for some reason. It's first mentioned in the book of Exodus in the Old Old Testament or the Jewish Torah, and God instructed Moses to build it while Moses was on Mount Sinai for 40 days. And Moses had Bezalel and Oliab to construct the ark, and it was carried by the Israelites during the 40 years in the desert, and it was stored inside the tabernacle while they camped.
So, a description of it is it was made of acacia wood and covered with gold, and it was 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide, and then another 1.5 cubits high, which would be 52 by 31 by 31 inches in dimensions. And it had 4 golden rings on each of its corners, or I guess one on each corner, but 4 golden rings in total. And the acacia wood staves were covered with gold to be used to carry the ark and not to be removed. And it was used to house the Ten Commandments.
And then the Bible mentions, yes, this is, if you haven't figured out, kind of a Bible heavy, I guess, information episode. It has some miraculous uses. The Israelites, when they, now led by Joshua, arrived at the River Jordan, the ark was in the front, and once the priest carrying it touched the water, it dried up, letting the Israelites cross. And then we get to the Battle of Jericho, where it was carried around the walls of Jericho once a day for 6 days, following the armed men and 7 priests blowing trumpets of ram's horns. And on the 7th day, the 7 priests blew the trumpets, and the ark was carried around the walls 7 times, and along with the mighty shout, the walls of Jericho fell.
So, pretty powerful. Pretty powerful.
Yeah, those aren't the only descriptions of it being used more so as a weapon, but kind of the most notable to mention.
And it has been captured and returned. So it was captured by the Philistines. The Philistines moved the ark around their territory and were having bad luck everywhere they went. It was placed in the temple of Dagon, a Philistine god, in Ashdod. The next morning, the statue of Dagon was found bowing towards the ark, and the people of Ashdod were afflicted with tumors and a rodent infestation, which could have also been the bubonic plague. And then after 7 months, the Philistines returned the ark to the Israelites because of all the bad luck.
Yeah, kind of implied to be a curse. And then Solomon, the son of King David, built the Temple of Solomon, and the temple was built with a room specifically for the Ark of the Covenant called the Kodesh Hakodashim, or the Holy of Holies. And sorry, if my Hebrew's not very good.
I don't think they expect us to have really good Hebrew, but yeah.
I do good to speak English half the time.
So the Ark has been become lost, and in the 1587 BC, the Babylonians invaded and destroyed Jerusalem, and it's unclear if the Babylonian army took it with them or if the Israelite priests had it hidden.
Yeah, so 587 is the last known location of the last known mention of the Ark. And there are several claims, and probably the most famous one is the Ethiopian claim, in which the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church claims to have the Ark, and it's located in Exum.
Now, do we have any pictures of their claim, or are they just saying they have it?
Nobody from the outside has ever saw the Ark that they claim to have, and they have a priest, I believe it's a priest, that's job is to specifically look over and protect the Ark of the Covenant.
Okay.
So nobody outside of the church has ever seen it.
So then also Southern Africa, the Limba people of South Africa and Zimbabwe claim their ancestors carried the Ark south. And again, sorry for the pronunciation, but they called it Ngoma Lungunda, or the Voice of God.
And there are three other possible locations, which are Rome, which is probably within Vatican City, which is an independent country within Rome, which, for those who may not know, is the center of the Catholic world where the Pope lives. Then reports also, like a fringe theory, is that it's an island, and Malaya Island also has some connections to the Ark.
I mean, if it ended up being in Vatican City, that's probably the best place for it, but
Yeah, we might have to do the Vatican Secret Archives next week. That because people claim that the Vatican City, the Vatican Secret Archives hold all sorts of different, like, important religious objects.
does it have the Holy Grail?
I mean, some people claim that it may be in the Vatican Secret Archives.
Interesting, interesting.
By the way, we do have an episode on the Holy Grail and Legend of King Arthur. Two of those, actually, two on Legend of King Arthur. So go watch those episodes. Shameless plug.
Then also in pop culture, I'm sure a lot of people, if you are not really into religion at all, you probably have watched Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Then there's also the Lost Treasure of the Knights of the Templar, and then Harry Turtledove novel Alpha and Omega.
Yeah, so you really have to be living under a rock not to have heard of the Ark of the Covenant, whether you're religious or not, because, I mean, even I've heard of Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Now, I have not watched Indiana Jones and the Lost Ark, but I do remember the scene. Like, I've seen the scene when they opened the Covenant, and didn't it, melt everyone after they opened it?
Yeah, it melted the evil Germans' faces. The evil 1940 Germans' faces.
So I guess there's another, not really miraculous, but another ability of it. If you open it up and you're evil, I guess you just get melted.
Well, that's just one of its powers. If someone that's not worthy looks upon it, they get basically obliterated off the face of the earth. And our thoughts, I believe it did exist, and I want to believe it exists somewhere in the world today, and it's probably waiting for the right time to be rediscovered. I think that because I'm kind of biased, Catholic here, so I do believe that God would probably protect, one of the most important objects or quite possibly the most important object in the Old Testament.
Yeah, I also believe that it did exist at one time, but since it was lost, who knows if it was hidden, captured, or possibly destroyed. And I mean, looking at it not from like a kind of like supernatural, miraculous kind of thing, it is made of acacia wood covered in gold. So I mean, the acacia wood could have rotted and stuff like that. I mean, depending. But if it was, I guess, kept in a good location where it could possibly have survived, that would be really good.
Yeah, as long as like if it's kept in like a good environment that helps preservation, take out all the religious and supernatural stuff, it could still exist like completely intact or mostly intact today.
If not, I mean, even like the Ten Commandments could still be inside. I mean, they're just on stone, basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think that's all we've got for this week. Join us next week when I think we're going to do a little bit on the Vatican Secret Archives. Any last words, Ethan?
Just thanks for watching, everyone.
Thanks for watching. If you're on YouTube, leave us a like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, drop us a follow and comment, and we'll see you next week.
You might wake up beside Spearfinger with an extended visit from Jack the Ripper. But if you're lucky, it'll be an angel on that range hill of Louisiana. You might meet Mary Laveau or the Road. At Folklore Unlocked, Austin and Ethan concoct their theory of the eerie and unexplained around the world, sometimes even the underworld. The lore is locked behind secrets, the folklore is meant to be unlocked. The Sokoloo is haunting NC as well as Tennessee. There are many giants that might be clients of the Dark Watchers, who might have psychokinesis. And the phantom time hypothesis is like a phoenix, coming back around again and again. The laser strain on your brain if you've got more than 2 brain cells in you. Some believe McCartney is dead because they read into the Mandela effect, which is subject